So here we are today working on a 2000 Ford F350 Super Duty, the 6.8 liter V10. We're going to be doing a water pump. I got a Duralast water pump here from local auto parts store, and we're going to throw it in. First step with it, we're going to clear out some things here, get us some room, so we need to get a crescent wrench. A big set of channel locks here. And I've got a massive set of channel locks I put onto the bolts that are on the pulley, and I've got that clamped down, a piece of pipe on there. And you can buy a fan wrench or fan clutch removal tools, but if you got a big crescent wrench and a big set of channel locks, big crescent wrench right there, then you can do the job without buying other tools. So anyhow, this is where we're at with it, and we're going to get this done. You get the crescent wrench on there after the channel locks are in place, and you just give it a couple of whacks with your mallet, and it'll pop right loose as soon as it comes loose. It's super simple, breaks free, and comes off pretty easily. Now we're going to have to remove the fan clutch, and the fan shroud. Quite a few things here, really, to get down to the water pump itself. Yeah. So as you can see, we got it broke loose. We're just going to keep backing it off until we're all the way out of the way there. Okay, so we get our screwed out of the way and get that broken loose, threaded back. As you can see here, we've got plenty of space to work with. We've got to remove the 4 bolts on the back of our fan clutch from the fan blade, so we can push the fan clutch through and then pull the fan blade out, and then the fan clutch out, and the fan shroud out. A couple of different ways of doing it. We're also going to remove this top radiator hose here. We are going to be draining the system, flushing the system while we're here, so we'll take care of that at the same time. Okay. We're back here. We got the radiators draining. We got the top coolant hose off. Got it out of the way. We took the fan shroud out, the coolant reservoir out. Removed the fan clutch and the fan. We've also taken the pulley wheel off and the belt back. Pulley wheel is 10 millimeter bolts, as well as the water pump bolts that are here. Okay. So we're back here. Got everything sorted out a little bit. Tried to get a tap on it to get it pulled out and couldn't. Needed to get a better downward angle, so we pulled that alternator out so we could get a downward angle on that. The alternator bolts are 10 millimeter as well. And here we notice that's when I noticed that the water pump collar, the threads that are on the existing water pump, are much larger than the threads that are on the new one, so I've got to go back to the auto parts store and sort that out at this point. Okay, so here we're going to give it a little pull on there first, just to see if that does the trick. Probably won't, more than likely never does, but you never know. So we're going to smack it around a little bit with a mallet and see if we can't get it to wiggle just a little bit. You can see it there pop a little bit, kind of opens up. Now if we can, we get a little pry bar in there, we're not going to put any force on the pry bar. All it's there for is to go in and create a little resistance when we smack things back the other way.
To bring out the other side a little bit.
We'll just work back and forth in a couple of back up. Get reset here. Better angle. You can see right there already we got a gap forming. And as we tap on our water pump a little more, a couple different directions, it loosens up. You can see that gap getting bigger and bigger.
so you can follow it up. Ba-ding, there we go. Old water pump out.
Okay, so we got the old water pump has been removed, and now we need to kind of inspect our mating surfaces where the O-ring sits. We need to clean everything up. There's some scaling, some mineralization, some other debris there. So we're going to get all that cleaned out. Make sure everything's cleaned up with a nice clean shop towel. Make sure that you don't put any debris in it. We'll take a look at the old one real quick here and see what it looks like. See right there, the fins are already spinning. They shouldn't be. So after inspecting that just a little bit, that entire thing is spinning freely. The housing is solid, good. The O-ring's shot. O-ring's old, it's mineralized, but it was doing its job. It was not leaking anything from there. It's just that this centerpiece, you can see how easily it spins, freely spinning. So that was the issue in this one. The center broke away from that fin, so it wasn't moving any water anymore. It would just spin on the center shaft and make a little obnoxious noise. So anyhow, so here we have the old one and the new one. We have the old one with the correct thread size, a new one with the wrong thread size. So I had to go back and get a new one, second new one with the correct thread size this time. Make sure you got an O-ring or that one comes with it.
Okay, so we got everything out. We got everything pulled. We got everything cleaned up nice now. Clean it up really good, okay? Viewers at home, if you're wondering how we lube our O-ring with coolant, just take the damn thing and fold it over like so, and just lube it, give the bottle a little wiggle, pull it back out, and we're all lubed up.
Okay, once you got the O-ring lubed up, you're going to slip it around the water pump collar into the groove that's there. Just make sure you don't rotate it, don't slice it, don't damage the O-ring. Afterwards, just take your fingertip and rub it around the edge to make sure that you get a little lubricant and all the way around the O-ring. Then we get to here, where we're going to go ahead and push it back in and make sure you line up your bolt holes ahead of time, get it to seat, and then just go ahead and thread your bolts in a little bit. You can go ahead and run them down a few threads, get all your bolts started, and then continue to run them on down the rest of the way. You get down to where they're pulling the O-ring and everything into the engine block, seating it properly. Just make sure that it mates evenly as you go. A couple of turns on one bolt, skip to the other side. A couple of turns on that, skip to another one. A couple of turns, and so forth. Okay, so we're at the point we're going to put our belt on, our fan shroud, fan, clutch, getting the rest of these things buttoned up. We're going to go ahead and make sure that you pay attention to where you're putting your belt at through the pulley system and make sure that it is correct. You don't want any mishaps with that or creating any excess damage as well. Also check your belt for any kind of damage or wear and tear. While you are there, it's beneficial for you to do so. If it's cracked or has any missing pieces in the grooves, fraying apart, definitely replace it. Get yourself a new one at this point. So we've got our serpentine belt tool aligned and in place. They're pretty straightforward to use. Make sure you have your belt pretty much in place when you go to use it. You don't want to have to try and snake your belt around it after you've policed it on the pulley. Yeah, pretty simple. Give it a little leverage and stretch it out, slip the belt around there. Make sure everything lines up nice before you let it go all the way. You don't want to create any damage where there wasn't any before on your belt. Okay, so at this time, we're going to make sure we go ahead and close our drain on the radiator. Get that good and snug. You just get that really good hand tight on this model. It's a nylon plug, so it's not a lot. Inspect your radiator hoses on the bottom side. Look at everything. Look in them. Take a look at the discoloration, things of that nature. If there's any buildup in them, you might want to replace them. Something else I'll be doing with this whole system is flushing it. So here we've got the little plastic loops. So that's the plug, drain plug. But those little plastic loops are where the tabs on your radiator right here, there, and there. Those tabs go down into those loops. Those and the two bolts at the top will keep your fan shroud pulled tight to the radiator. Okay, here we have the fan clutch assembly and fan blade put back together, and this time we're going to put them on the inside of the fan shroud, drop it down inside of there, and then we're going to get that put on. Okay, here you can see we've got the fan clutch assembly on the water pump threads there, and we're going to finish tightening it down the rest of the way. And we're just going to go snug as we can by hand. Run it all the way down by hand until it's bottomed out there. And the fan blade continues to spin on its own. You can see it's still turning a little bit. We're going to finish running it down here. Just keep it running down until the shaft stops and the blade keeps turning. And we're going to go grab our crescent wrench and our channel locks.
Let's see here. You don't need a lot. If you threaded it down already, it's everything stationary. A couple of good taps with a mallet. Just right there on the handle, just bam bam. That's all you need. And it will continue to keep tightening itself as the engine runs. If it ever was to get loose, it would immediately tighten itself.
Okay, here we're back. We've got the coolant reservoir put in place. Sorry I didn't run a video on that. One 8mm bolt up top. Connect the top hose, the bottom hose, and then two more 8mm bolts right there. We still do need to put the lug wrench and the jack bar into the front bracket here and secure those. And then we got to add coolant.
Okay, so we're back here. We're all done. Got our coolant reservoir, fan shroud, fan clutch, top radiator hose in. We've got our coolant in it, belts on, pulleys on, water pump is in. So what we're doing basically, we're just looking around for any kind of excess humidities, wet spots, bottom of anything, that kind of nature. Just checking for any passive leaks. At this point, we're going to fire it up and we're going to top off the coolant as it sucks it in, and we are going to check for leaks under pressure. Okay, so we're back here for about 10 minutes. Got our warm on the inside, letting it run a little bit. For any other kind of leaks with water spatter. Got good heat inside. No leaks underneath. where I dribbled earlier. That's about it. So that's the dribble. We're in the clear. Good to go.